The Prince of Persia was once one of Ubisoft's top franchises, with the PS2 era reboot trilogy earning a great deal of acclaim. A new Prince of Persia game released every year from 2003's Sands of Time to 2010's Forgotten Sands, but the franchise has been mostly dormant ever since. That's the beginning to change thanks to the Sands of Time remake and the Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, where a 2.5 Metroidvania action platformer takes place in a bold, admittedly divisive direction. While some may see Prince of Persia The Lost Crown as a downgrade compared to the larger scale of adventures from the years of the past, The Lost Crown is easily one of the best games in the franchise's history. This is Fenris Wolf on behalf of Gamer Overlord, and in today's video I would be broadly reviewing the Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, so make sure you watch this video till the end. Whatever information that I'm providing in this video, if you find this helpful and relatable, do please hit the like and the subscribe button, and make sure you click that bell icon so that I come up with more intriguing reviews in the future. So making myself and everything else clear, let's get started. The Prince of Persia Lost Crown puts his players in the role of Sargon, a member of Persia's elite warrior force known as the Immortals. Sargon and his fellow Immortals are sent to rescue the kidnapped Prince Hassan, who has been taken to Mount Kaf, where the normal rules of time and space don't seem to apply. The Lost Crown's story has some interesting twists and flashy action sequences that look like they were pulled out straight from an anime. Lost Crown's art style works for its stylish cutscenes, though some are going to be underwhelmed with how it looks in the game. Prince of Persia The Lost Crown doesn't look bad, but it sometimes looks dated and even generic at times, despite its stylized art. Many won't mind how The Lost Crown looks, though it's understandable that some fans will be somewhat put off by the game's graphics as they explore Mount Kaf. Shortly after arriving at Mount Kaf, Sargon is let loose to explore as he sees limited only by his abilities. In typical Metroidvania fashion, players come across unreachable areas that they have to traverse and acquire new powers throughout the game. Sargon's powers in Prince of Persia The Lost Crown consist of fairly standard fare like a dash and a double jump, as well as more interesting time-based abilities that are cleverly used throughout the game. Prince of Persia The Lost Crown's gameplay consists of combat, platforming and puzzle solving, and Sargon starts off with basic strikes, but the moves he learns later in the game greatly expand his arsenal of attacks. Likewise, Sargon's dash, double jump and other abilities will pull off increasingly complex platforming sequences. When players are not busy fighting enemies or dodging deadly traps, they will find themselves solving tricky puzzles that require them to really think about how best they have to do to utilize Sargon's abilities. As players explore the Lost Crown's massive Metroidvania map, they will be doing plenty of fighting, platforming and puzzle solving, with the game offering a great deal of variety to ensure that things never get boring. The Lost Crown knocks it out of the park with everything it tries to accomplish in these particular key areas, and it does a great job of balancing the challenges associated with each one of them. Platforming, for example, can be genuinely difficult, with some sections feeling almost Celeste-like in their design. But while these sections will take quite a few tries, they never get the point of frustration. It helps that the platforming is extremely exciting, with Sargon able to leverage his unique skills to pull off some incredible feats, dashing through small openings, swinging off poles and dodging obstacles as just the right time to avoid getting killed. Lost Crown's challenging platforming pairs well with its challenging combat as well, while most of the grunts Lost Crown players encounter on their adventure can be dispatched with relative ease. The game features the genuinely difficult boss fights, and these intense boss fights are really where Lost Crown's combat shines the most, forcing players to utilize all the tools in Sargon's arsenal if they have to have some hope to survive in the game. While the Lost Crown is not a Souls-like, some of the boss battles in the game will certainly leave players feeling like they are playing one of those Souls-like games. Assuming they are playing on the least of the standard difficulty setting, Lost Crown players can expect to die plenty of times when facing off against the game's toughest foes. These bosses could have easily pushed the Lost Crown off balance and made it more irritating than fun, but the developers masterfully toe the line, delivering heart-pounding boss battles that challenge players without making them pull their hair out. Now, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown's boss fights deliver the most memorable moments. Overcoming these battles feels like, accomplishment, leaving players with some sense of elated victory that they get from beating a tough boss fight in the best Souls-like games. The only downside in that some of the bosses are repeated multiple times, which can get repetitive, especially when the game is at its peak Now, those having trouble with a particular boss have ways to help even with the odd. Now, while Sargon does not level up, players can still increase his stats by finding helpful items hidden in mount caves, twisted corridors, or by purchasing weapon upgrades and amulets. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown's massive map features huge swaths of optional areas that players can ignore if they want, but doing so means missing out on valuable rewards. Lost Crown's Mount Caf is truly gigantic, filled with secret rooms and hidden areas that can make exploration a great treat, even if the backtracking can sometimes become a little too much. Instead of letting players fast travel from one save point to the next, there are dedicated fast travel rooms, but they aren't plenty enough, and so inevitably, there are stretches of the game where players are subjected to some tedious backtracking. Now, backtracking is an inevitable component of Metroidvania genre, so fans can expect it, but certain areas in the Lost Crown are more annoying to explore than anything else, which makes to someone to go back through there multiple times in a core. On the bright side, going through already explored sections with new powers means there will be more, certainly something for Sargon to find, whether it's a new side quest, treasure, optional boss, or whatever else. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown introduces an awesome quality of life feature called the Memory Shards that marks the map and takes a picture of the immediate area. Players may come across an obstacle that they don't know how to go through, but the Memory Shards, they can take a snapshot of it and return later if they want to finish that particular portion. This goes beyond simply marking the map and lets players know if backtracking to the area is really worth it or not. Memory shards are a game changer for Metroidvania games, and hopefully they are something other that the titles are opting about. Memory shards are in the game's only quality of life feature that makes it more accessible. Lost Crown's players are customized the experience however they would like, choosing from a preset difficulties or creating their own custom difficulty. Someone who does not care about mastering the game's combat can tone it down, while someone who is not interested in platforming can get assists. Accessibility extends beyond the game's combat and platforming, with the Lost Crown featuring optional objective and markers that can be turned off if players want a more traditional Metroidvania experience. Both those new to the genre and hardcore Metroidvania fans are going to fall in love with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and it's too early to say if it will be remembered with the same fondness as the Super Metroid or Castlevania Symphony of the Night series. But Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a fantastic Metroidvania and one of the best games in the entire Prince of Persia franchise. So that's it from the review, guys. We'll be coming up with more interesting reviews and some interesting games that I had played last month. Till then, take care.